Okay. All right. I'm super excited to do this Zoom tonight. And I was inspired by a couple girls on my team who have just said they're struggling. And if you're not one of those girls, or if you are, I want you to put in the chat, put a one in the chat if you are kind of there too, where you're like, I'm just like, things aren't happening the way I thought they would. Like, it's just not looking how I wanted. Um, it just inspired me, and I'm super excited to be doing this soon because this is something that I love talking about. So, I have a question for you before we start. If you guys are watching the recording of this, you don't get a choice because you're watching the recording and I don't see what you're saying. But for those of you that are on, do I have your permission to be a little harsh, knowing that it's all comes from a place of love? Knowing that I'm not trying to be mean, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just, it all comes from love, I promise. Okay. I'm seeing a couple of you guys like nodding your head. Okay. Be as harsh as you need. Okay. Yes. Awesome. Okay. So my first question for you guys is, and put in the chat, is how long have you been in the business? For those of you that are on my team, I know your answer, but the other ones, 6 years. Okay. 5.5 years. Oh, you guys got some OGs like me. I've been in for 6.5 years, 3 months. Kirsten and Hannah, y'all are less than a month. Y'all are brand new babies. Couple weeks. Okay. Now, and you guys can answer this in the chat if you want. If you don't want, just think about this. But why did you start? What was the main financial or whatever reason that you started for? What was it? And I want you to think about that. And I want you to ask yourself if you've accomplished that. And put in the chat, yes, you've accomplished it, or no, you have not. Yes, you've accomplished everything that you wanted to do when you started, or no, you have not yet. Not yet accomplished. Ready for when your 9 to 5 was going to mess with your hours, pay on student loans, help provide for your family. Haven't yet. Okay. So not even close to accomplishing it. Okay. So here's my question, and I mean this with love, because so many times we hit a hard patch, right? Or we hit a time where we're like, we just don't feel like working, or maybe we feel like we're doing all the right things, but nothing's coming of it. Or maybe we're not doing enough of the things, but we don't really want to do more. Or maybe you've been with the company for a while and you're like, I don't even know if this is supposed to be like, if I should be doing this. Like, I don't know if this is right for me. Or maybe you're brand new wondering that, like, did I make the wrong choice? Like, why did I start this? Like, it's not exactly what I want. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. Here's my question for you. Do you have any other viable option right now? Most likely the answer is no. Otherwise, you would be doing it, right? So this is your only option. Okay. Which is kind of a scary thought, right? Like, this is your only option right now. But here's what I want you to, here's some good news with that is when you are stuck at a point where you have no other options, you have nothing else to do but to move forward, right? The other option you can do is you can quit, right? No one's going to force you to stay in the business. No one's going to force you to continue working in the business. But the other thing you can do is you can quit and you'll still be in the situation that you're stuck in right now, right? You're still going to be struggling financially. You're still going to be having to sit by to your kids and going to work, or you're still going to be wanting to do X, Y, and Z, right? Those are your only options. Your only options are to quit and stay where you are, which I know nobody wants to because that's why you joined the business, because you didn't want to be where you are. Or you can suck it up and figure out how we're going to move forward. Okay. So, and the reason why I love talking about this, and I'm going to get into some numbers in a second, but the reason why I love talking about this is because I have been in this spot a couple times in my business where I'm like, what am I even doing? Why am I even here? Why am I even putting the effort in? I don't feel like doing this anymore. This isn't fun. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. Right. So here are some things that I had to ask myself, that a couple of people from corporate and top leaders, that because when I was working through this, you guys, I didn't just sit and was like, I'm just going to be mad or irritated or upset or stressed out or confused. I like actively searched out a way to fix it. So some things that were asked that I had to sit and really truly think to myself. One, this one is going to be hard for you to answer at this moment because your initial answer is yes, but I want you to truly, truly think about it, okay? My first question for you is, have you truly been believing that this was going to work for you? Have you truly been believing that like this was your answer, that this was worth it, that all of your effort was going to bring you the benefits that you wanted? Have you truly been believing it, that you're like, this is it? I'm so hyped up. This is it. I feel so, 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 so good. Okay. Some of you are saying yes, some of you are saying no, and that's okay. And I want you to think about that, because the other thing with that is when I want you to also think about it as you're going through the business, right? So like that mindset, when you're sending out host post messages, is your mindset the fact of like, oh, they're going to say yes, I'm so excited, they're going to put a post up, I'm going to get some potentials, whatever? Or are you sitting there like, I'll send these messages, but they're going to think I'm a scammer or that my Facebook was hacked again, but whatever, I'll send the messages because Courtney told me to. Or are you sitting there and putting your post up and you're like, I don't even know why I'm doing this, no one comments on it, but this is going to be my answer, right? So I want you to truly think about it over these next couple of days as you're working your business. What are those thoughts in the back of your head that are like, when you're talking to someone and you're like, here's another person I'll talk to that's not going to join my team. Here's another person I'll talk to that's not going to have the money to order the products. Here's another person I'll talk to that's not going to be interested. Here's another person I'll talk to that's not going to post for me, right? What are those little thoughts in the back of your head telling you? Because that's important. And if that's an issue where you're like, oh, shoot, Courtney, I didn't even realize I was thinking that. Because like my initial thought was, yeah, this is my answer. But all these things were actually telling me it wasn't, because my mind wasn't actually believing it. So that's my first question for you. My second question for you is, have you been doing everything you can? Have you been doing your full entire task list every single day for the last 2 weeks? Okay. And what I mean by that is like a true, honest task list. Like, have you had at least 10 people post for you every single day for the past 2 weeks? And you guys can answer in the chat if you want. If you don't want to, that's okay. Not every day. I love your honesty. Thank you. Because it's very easy when you're in a bad mindset, or when things aren't coming together the way that you want them to, it's very easy to say, you know what, I put 20 minutes of effort in and it didn't come together, so I'll try again tomorrow. Or it's very easy when you get home from work, your kids are asleep, for you to just be like, oh, I'm not in the mood today, I'm just going to go lay down on the couch and watch some Netflix. It's very easy to let yourself not do the things. It's also very easy to let yourself be afraid of the work. Okay, I'm going to tell you that's a thing. If you don't know that's a thing, it's a thing. You can be afraid of working because you're going to be afraid of putting the effort in without seeing any results. Okay, so by doing that, you're self-sabotaging and not putting the effort in. Okay, so, and I know, and I mean this with love in my heart, I know that the people that are on my team, I know you guys all haven't completed your entire task list every single day for the past 2 weeks. Okay. And I don't mean that to be like, called you out and I see you. Okay. But I want you to realize that the consistency is where it comes together. Okay. Because you will have a day. The other day, I got up 21 host to posts. You want to know how many comments I got on all 21 host to posts combined? Two. Now, some people with a very bad mindset, including myself in the past, would be like, see, why do I even do host to post? That was freaking pointless, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you're like, yeah, that's probably where my head would go after that. Like, I'd be pretty mad, right? But my thought was, here's the difference from being in the business for so long and knowing what can come. My thought process was, oh, I'm excited for tomorrow, because if my host posts were that bad today, I know they're going to be bombed tomorrow. And guess what happened the next day? I had a distributor host a post go up that got 62 comments. I had 2 gummies host posts that got up over 30 comments. Okay. But if after that first day, with only 2 combined comments out of 21 posts, if I was like, I'm not even doing host to posts, I'm not even putting any effort in tomorrow, I'm so done. Why did I waste my time? I would have missed out on all of those people. Okay. So you have to commit to the task list every single day. And I'm going to take an excuse off the table for you. I know some of you put a 2 in the chat right now if you're like, but Courtney, I'm busy. I don't have time to get the whole task list done every day. Because that was me when I worked full time. Okay. Courtney, I'm busy. You don't understand. There's a lot going on. This is my next question that I told y'all was going to be a little bit harsh. Is this truly important to you? Is it truly, truly, truly important to you? And I ask you that because if it is, you will find a way. Okay. When I was working full time, what that meant for me is I got up at 4:45 every single day. And I did a double power hour back to back. I worked from 5 to 7 every single day. Okay. Then if my task list was not done, guess who didn't go to bed until it was done? Me. And sometimes that meant not going to bed until 2 a.m. And I still woke up at 4:45 the next day. Okay. Now that's not fun. I don't recommend that. Well, if that's where you're at, let me know and I will help you figure out a way to plan your day better and figure out the times that you can work. But I will tell you this, my task list, 99% of the days, I can get done in a total of 45 minutes to an hour. Okay. So if you cannot find an hour in your current day, so say you wake up at 7, you go to bed at 10. Okay. If you do not have an hour, what I want you to plan on is you're going to wake up at 6. Okay. To get that time done, to get that work done. Because what I do and what works for me, and if that doesn't work for you, I'm saying find time. Okay. Find a way to make it happen. Stop letting yourself give yourself excuses every single day. Okay. So what works for me is every morning I go through my entire task list so I send 25 post-to-post messages 3 times a day. So I'll do everything in one set of 25 post-to-post messages. And then 2 other times throughout the day, I'll send 25 more. Okay. And by that, 99% of the time, I get up 10 to 20 post-to-posts without doing anything else. Some nights I have to send out more messages. Some nights after my son goes to bed, when the last thing I want to do is set up my office and work, I have to sit here and get things done. Because I know if I give myself an excuse today, it's even easier tomorrow, which makes it even easier the next day. And then next thing you know, it's 2 weeks later and you're like, I haven't gotten my full task list done in 2 weeks. Because it's so easy once you let yourself off the hook once, it's so easy to continually do that, right? And then you're continually having this cycle where you're not doing all the things, so you're mad because you're not seeing the results. And then you're just stuck. So I want you to ask yourself, like, how important is this to you? How important are your kids that you want to stay home with? How important is it to pay off your debt? How important is it to get a new house? Whatever your why is, how important is that to you? Because that is never going to get accomplished until you stop giving up on yourself, until you stop making these goals and then letting yourself off the hook when it gets a little hard, or when you have one bad day where you do all the things and don't see the results that you want. Okay. So I want to tell you guys a couple things. Does anyone have any questions about anything I said so far? Is anyone uber offended? And if you are, I'm so sorry. It was not my purpose. But sometimes if you're like me, I needed a slap in the face, because it's very, very, very easy to be like, but Courtney doesn't understand. My life is so much more busy than hers is. My life is so much more difficult. My life is so much X, Y, and Z. It's so different. Everyone has their own reason of why this business can't work. But if your reason why you need this business to work is bigger, you will find a way. If you need to make more time in your day, make more time in your day. If you need to be more intentional and not scroll through TikTok, do that. Figure it out. And if you need help, I am here to help you figure it out. But the reason that you will either be successful or not be successful is what you choose to do every single day. Okay. So a couple things that I want you, did it take me to accomplish what my task was? Like 45 minutes. So a couple things that I want to tell you guys. It took me 3 weeks from when I started to sign my first customer. And that customer was my mother. And I took her debit card and I ordered her hair, skin, and nails. And I went to her and I said, hey, mom, I took your debit card and you're ordering this product for 3 months. That was my first customer. Okay. It took me 2 years to go Ruby. 2 years. Now, I could have given up in those first 3 weeks, and I also could have given up in those first 2 years, right? When it wasn't looking how I wanted, but I didn't. And my life looks so, so, so different now. So I want to give you guys some numbers because I know sometimes it feels like, and put a 3 in the chat if you feel like this, where you're like, I'm never going to get out of this spot. I'm always going to be in this financial position. My paycheck with It Works is always going to be $50. My paycheck with It Works is always going to be $200, whatever it is, right? You just can't see past where you are right now, that you're like, I'm just going to continually hit this wall. I'm just going to go back and forth, just going to hit it and hit it and hit it and hit it. I want to tell you guys some numbers. These are true, honest numbers. I went back into eSuite and looked at my commissions between my paychecks and Matthew's paychecks, because at this time, so I'm going to give you our paychecks from November. This wasn't this past year, but like a different time. Our paychecks combined from November, and our paychecks were about this point for about 6 months. Okay. And I felt like I was doing all of the things, but I wasn't. But I was like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, where I was like, I'm working, but like, I'm not giving it my all. Like, I'm here, but I'm not. And when I got this paycheck in November, I said, I'm done. Because at this point, this was my only job and we couldn't live off this income anymore. And I said, either I have to move forward or I have to quit and do something else, because I can't do this anymore. And I got serious about my task list, about my mindset, about doing whatever it took. I got serious about stopping giving up on myself. I got serious about not letting myself off the hook every day. I got serious about getting the dang thing done because I was sick and tired of being broke. Amen. Right? I was sick and tired of being broke. I was sick and tired of wondering if I was ever going to be successful. I was sick and tired of wondering if I could ever go to the store and just buy whatever the heck I wanted without being like, I don't need it. I don't need it. I'll put it back. Right? I didn't want to, at this time in November, I was so sick of being like, I want to get my family this for Christmas, but I can't afford it. So they're going to get this instead. And I'm not happy with this. I was done. And sometimes it takes you breaking and getting to a point where you are just freaking done to keep going, to move forward like you've never moved forward before. Okay. So November paychecks combined, Matthew and I made $795.78. Now I know some of you on here are like, I would freaking kill for that much money in a month, right? Y'all that are brand new, you're like, that sounds freaking wonderful. Okay. And that is, however, this was my only job. That was not paying the bills. We were living off of our savings account at that point. Okay. So that was November, $795.78. And if these numbers are too big, I want you to move the decimal point back. So like $79.57. Imagine that was your paycheck, or maybe that is what it is, around there. By March, Matthew and I combined had made $6,152.58. So in 4 months, we went from $795.78 to $6,152.58. Okay. The next month, in April, we made $8,484.74. So in 5 months, we went from $795 to $8,400, okay. The next month, y'all, this still makes me so mad. Okay. Hear me out. I'll tell you in a second. In May, we made $9,971.97. And I was so mad that we were $29 away from hitting the $10,000 mark. Okay. It still makes me so mad about it. But in a 6 months time, we went from $795.78 to $9,971.97. Okay. What you decide now will tell you what your paycheck is 6 months from now. You have to decide right here, right now, if you've had enough, and enough is enough, and you're going to get serious. My husband does not do this. No, I have an account for him. So I promote his, like I do his for him. Was this consistency or did something you said or did in posting finally clicked? So before, so like up until my November paycheck, I was half in, half out. So like if my task list was like 10 host posts, I'd get up like 3 to 4, right? Or if my task list was ask 10 people to join my team, I'd ask like 2 to 3. So I was working, but not like giving it my all. I was letting myself off the hook every day and say, well, maybe tomorrow I'll hit my goal, right? I looked at my task list. Here's a perfect way to describe it. I looked at my task list as my max, right? Like if I hit 10 host posts, I was done. I was not looking at my phone the rest of the night. Now, my task list is my minimum. You know that you see the difference? Where I was not willing to put all the time and effort in. I wanted, how do I say this nicely? I wanted like a CEO's paycheck with like a part-time job's work ethic. See what I'm saying? I wanted all the things, but I wasn't working for it. You get people that think it's a scam. So do I, all day, every day. And we've talked about this a couple times, and I know you hate this answer, and I hate that the answer is you need to find new people to add. Okay. So you need to, if you're adding from a certain spot on your Facebook, certain people's friends of friends, I need you to go somewhere totally different. And I need you to add 25 people a day, 3 times a day. Because you're never going to move forward if you keep doing what we're doing right now. So we need to find new people. We need to talk to new people every single day. Okay. I have a hard time asking people to join you when you haven't made any money. Totally get it. That's hard. It is hard. What you can do, and I hated this, but you will get through it. Okay. I promise you that. But instead of telling people what you have done, tell people where you are going. Because for me, I had a hard time being like, hey, join my team. I've made all this money and life is so great. When if I hadn't made any money, like I wasn't going to lie to people. That was not my thing. I've never lied to someone. It's not what I'm going to do. So instead, when we talked about it, and if they said like, hey, how are things going for you? To be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited because corporate came out with these success bonuses and I'm working on making X, Y, and Z by this time. And I'm so freaking excited about it. And I'd love to mentor you too. Right? You see the difference? Let's see. I went to a CEO mindset by not working in a paycheck to paycheck work ethic. Yeah, kind of like I got to a point where I was so done and I knew that my work ethic and how I was doing things wasn't working. Because every single day when I looked at my task list, half of it wasn't checked off. And that wasn't getting me where I wanted to go, right? Or some nights I'd be like, oh, I was so busy today and like I didn't even have time to do anything. Maybe tomorrow. It's so easy, you guys. So when people ask me what's the hardest thing about what you do, the hardest thing is no one can fire you. The hardest thing is you don't have a boss. You are in control of what you do. So you could choose today, I didn't do anything. And you could choose to not do anything tomorrow. No one's going to fire you. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going to get pissed off that your paycheck is small and you're going to quit. And you're going to still be in the same financial position that you're in right now. That's it. So you have to get to a point where enough is enough. You have to get to a point where you're like, I'm not doing that anymore. Courtney says to do 10 host posts. I'm doing 12 a day, no matter what. Right? You have to get to a point where instead of letting yourself have excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse of why this isn't working for you, I need you to look for reasons why it can work. I need you to give it everything you've got if it's truly that important to you. If it's not, that's okay. But you can't have massive expectations for your paycheck and a very minimal work ethic. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to choose that you're going to do more than you've ever done, because how many of you want that $10,000 paycheck or almost 10,000 minus $29, right? There's nothing special about me. How many of you, I want you to put it in the chat, because let's get honest here for a second. How many of you have thought or said, I could be more successful in this business if my network was like Courtney's, if my network was like Cheyenne Knox's, if my network was like whoever's. I could be more successful in this business if I looked more like Courtney or Cheyenne or Joel Dunn or who, right? I said those things when I started. You guys, I want to share my heart on this because it's so easy to think that there's something wrong with you. It's so easy to think there's something wrong with you or your network or what you're doing or what you look like or who you are that you're going to count yourself out. I did the same thing. And it was so easy. It was easier for me to say, I'm just not like them. My network isn't like theirs. She just got lucky that her network comments, mine doesn't. She has 5,000 friends. I only have 200. Right? There's so many excuses you can give yourself of why this business isn't working for you. Or you can figure out a way to make it work for you. Okay. So most likely put a 2 in the chat right now. I know I suck at remembering what number on, so I just pick random numbers. Put in the 2 in the chat right now if you have less than 1,000 friends on Facebook. Less than 1,000. Okay. Put a 3 in the chat if you have less than 500 on Facebook. That's the problem. That is the problem. Okay. Only 1% of people on your Facebook will ever see your post. And that's if they happen to go on Facebook that day. Okay. So how are you getting my friends list interact with me to get the comments to build up? That's a question. Okay. Awesome question. First thing is I interact with my friends on Facebook intentionally every single day. I comment on people's stuff every day. Okay. Also, I am always active on Facebook, which means I post every single day. I post on my stories every single day. I send out happy birthday messages every single day. So Facebook is like, hey, this girl's here. She is on our page. She is working. Not working. They don't know I'm working. They might. I don't know. But she's active. So Facebook will show my stuff. I do at least 15 minutes of interacting every single day, normally more. But if you're looking for an excuse of why this business can't work, you're going to find 1,000 of them. You will always be able to find an excuse. You'll always be able to say, oh, I don't look like Courtney, or, oh, I don't have a network like her. Oh, my posts don't get comments like hers. Okay. Well, how many people have you added to your Facebook? And I don't want to hear you guys. I don't want to hear y'all. I'm going to say this with love. I don't want to hear that you can't grow your network. I started a brand new Facebook page. One, because I thought my original one was getting shut down. It didn't, thank the Lord. But 2, because I wanted to see how quickly I could grow my network. Because I hear from so many new distributors that it's so hard to grow your network. I opened this new Facebook the first week of November. I have 270 friends on it already. Okay. You know what I do? I add 25 Facebook friends 3 times a day. It's not hard. But how bad do you want it? Are you going to figure out a way to make it work, or are you going to have an excuse of why it's not? Okay. It's one or the other. Either you're going to find a reason for it to work, or you're going to find an excuse that it's not going to. And I hope you lean this way, because this business can change everything for you. Those things that you go to sleep at night worrying about, there's no reason you have to worry about them. You have the answer right here. Right here. But you have to take your excuses off the table. You have to take those things, those doubts, those things that you're telling yourself that I can't be successful because X, Y, and Z. You have to take those off the table. And you have to replace that with, I'm going to be successful no matter what it takes. Okay. If your network is small, you're now adding 25 friends a day, 3 times a day. Every single day until you hit bare minimum 2,000 friends. Okay. Because if your network is itty bitty, it's going to take you forever to find people. So you have to be committed to growing your network every single day. Okay. I will also tell you this though. Your mindset is very, very important. Because when you go into how you're posting and what's going to come from your post, that's what's going to happen. So those 270 Facebook friends, Normally, and I'm gonna be totally honest, I'd see a new distributor, I'd be like, okay, they're gonna have a hard time getting comments. And you probably will for a little bit. However, I posted a distributor regular post yesterday or today, I don't know what day. And I was like, ooh, I'm gonna get some new comments. I'm gonna get some new potentials. I had 6 comments. Okay. You need to be in the mindset that it's going to work. You need to get to a place where you're like, this is it. This is my answer. It's all going to come together. You just have to stop with the mindset of struggle. You have to stop with the mindset of lack. And you have to force yourself into the mindset of abundance and success and power and happiness. Okay. Because if you're constantly like, oh, I'm struggling, you're going to continue to struggle. And I don't want that for you. I want you to be prosperous. I want you to live in abundance. But it's up to you. I can give you all the tools. I can give you my task lists. I can give you my scripts. I can give you everything I use. But if you're not willing to do the work or to force yourself to do more than you really want to do, that's it. I can't make you successful if you're not willing to put the work in. You know what I'm saying? You guys just have to fix the mindset, and you have to fix the part of you that lets yourself off the hook, because the easiest person to break a promise to is yourself. But once you stop breaking those promises to yourself, your life's going to change. And I've said this on a million Zooms. I said this on last week's Zoom. If you commit to this for X amount of time, your life's going to change. If you commit to this for X amount of time, you're going to see the results. But 99% of people won't commit to it because it's hard. It's hard on nights that you don't feel good to do all the things. You guys, I have had the worst cramps all day with this pregnancy. It's killing me. Do you think I wanted to sit here and do this Zoom? No, I wanted to go sit on the couch with a heating pad, watch a Christmas movie, and fall asleep on the couch. But I knew, I felt it in my heart. I felt God saying, you need to tell people this. You need to help people. So here I am. You have to choose the hard things sometimes. Because you guys, what I want to end with this, and I have said this on so many Zooms, if you're an OG on my team, you've heard me say this, or if you're an OG on my Zooms, God is not a teasing God. God doesn't have this little carrot, right? Y'all know, put a 4 in the chat. You know the Geico commercial where that guy's like fishing, he's like, almost had it, almost got it, right, with the dollar bill. Y'all know what I'm talking about? That's not how God is. God's not giving you these dreams of like, oh, what if I could quit my full-time job? What if I could pay off my student loans? What if I could be home with my kids? What if I could pay the mortgage with this? All those dreams that you had when you started, God didn't give you those dreams just to be like, almost got it. Just kidding. You don't get them. God is sitting here with all these blessings, sitting in a bucket, and he's saying, how bad do you want it? Are you willing to put the effort in? Meet me halfway. I brought you the opportunity. I have the blessings. I gave you the dreams. I gave you whoever, your upline, me, whoever. I gave you everything. I need you to meet me halfway and do the efforts. And I have these blessings for you. But some of you aren't willing to meet him halfway. He's just chilling here like, you prayed for this. You wanted this so bad. You needed something and I gave it to you and I have these things ready, but you're not doing anything. Or you're not consistent, or you're not believing that this was sent by me, or you're not believing that this can do anything for you. Okay? You have to meet him halfway. You have to be willing to put the effort in, you guys. I promise you this business can change everything for you. Everything. But you have to be willing to put the effort in. You have to be willing to believe this is it. You have to be willing to be in that positive mind space and trust that you can be successful. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. Does anyone have any last minute questions before I stop the recording? No? Okay. Well, I will put this up on my YouTube.